Here we have the inside of the Swift Lifestyle 6TD. If we firstly come to the main control panel, we can turn the 12 volt on just here. Once we've done this, we can turn the water pump on. The water pump needs to be on so we can get water out of the taps and fill the boiler if it's been drained down. We then have view levels, so we can view the condition of the leisure battery. We're getting illumination just here to let you know that the leisure battery is actually being used, and this one's illuminated letting us know that we have main supply connected to the van. Next we have the control panel for the Truma heating and hot water. It's currently giving us the time and letting us know that we have main supply connected to the van. If we now press the button, it will illuminate, and then as I rotate we will go over a series of icons. So if we start with the first icon just up the top here, this is for your heating. So if we now press the button, you will see the heating is off, and all we now do is just rotate and pick whatever temperature we would like it to be inside the caravan, and it will go right the way up to 30 degrees. So let's just say we want it to be 30 degrees in here. Click on the button to store it in, and you'll see a flame at the top there. That flame just represents the heating system, and it's just letting you know that you have set a parameter. Whenever the heating is actually in operation, it will begin to flash, and it will continue to flash until the temperature you have asked it has been achieved. If we now move to the next icon, this is for your hot water, and again press the button and then rotate to turn on, and we can heat hot water in eco mode, which will give us a temperature of about 40 degrees. We can heat in hot, which will give us a temperature of about 60 degrees, and we can also perform a boost on the boiler. The boost was mainly designed for if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other, or if you just want to have a longer shower. If you do perform the boost function and the heating is actually running, it will turn the heating off as it needs to use that extra power. But what I will now do is drop us back down to eco, and you'll see it continue to flash. The reason the heating is not coming on is because it's actually too hot in here, because it is about sort of 29-30 degrees outside today, so it's even hotter in here. This is the thermostat just here. After heating and hot water, if we move across to the next one, the icon just here is for your power source. So we are currently using mains electricity using 2 kilowatts, and it's indicated up here with the 2 little lightning strikes. If I rotate it, I can lower the power consumption to 1 kilowatt. So if we're on a low amp site, to try and stop ourselves from tripping. We can run in dual fuel, so we can run on a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatt, or mixture of gas and mains at 1 kilowatt. Dual fuel setting is extremely handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. It will only use the gas as it's required. And then lastly, we have no main supply, we can solely run on gas. After power source, we then have circulation fan. So currently the fan is in eco mode. What we can do is turn it up to high. And if I now turn off hot water and the heating and return to the fan, we can also use it to vent the caravan, and this has a fan speed of 1 to 10. So on a warm day like it is today, we can just turn the fan on and it will just circulate the air around the van. Next we have the lower icons, and this first one here is for a basic timer. So if I now click on it, we can set a start time, and then we can set an end time. And then once we've done that, we just literally tell it what we would like on during that time period. Lastly, once you've set it all up, timer on or off. If I now activate the timer icon will come up there, and then within that time period those settings would then apply. If I now return to it, I can turn the timer back off again, and when we go back in we can then alter it again. If we're going to be using timers, it helps if the clock's correct, and that's all this one here does, just sets the time. And then our last one just here is the settings menu. So within that we have offset, which is just for that thermostat just there. So if you don't think it's quite correct, you can just slightly adjust it. Temperature, just if you prefer it displayed in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Brightness of the screen. 12 or 24 hour clock. The language. Index, which is more for technicians, just lets them know what software it's running. And then lastly, full factory reset. From time to time these will throw up error codes, but a lot of the time it will be something relatively easy. So if you're trying to run the system on mains and you do not have it connected, it will throw up an error to let you know. And the same with if you're trying to run the system on gas and again you haven't got gas. An error code will basically appear when my finger is here. It will start off as a warning triangle, and then if you then go and click on it, it will display a series of numbers and letters, and then within the manual, or if you Google it, it will let you know what the problem is. 9 times out of 10, if you just rectify the problem, the error code will just automatically disappear. If that's not the case, just go back to it and just double press the black button just here, and it will sometimes just say no error and then go out. If you still have no joy with that, if you still have bits running up the top here like your heating or your hot water on, just go and turn them off, because it can assess things a lot quite quicker when it's not trying to do lots of stuff all together. Again, if that still does not work, I always then suggest the good old-fashioned turn it off and turn it back on again. Just hold the button in until it says off, and then turn it back on. If you still have no joy with that, I then always just say last ditch effort, do a factory reset on the system, because sometimes they can just like glitch like any computer and just need a hard reset. If we now come down to the front of the caravan and we just move some of the cushions out of the way and then just lift up, you will see that we have the consumer unit just here. So we have the individual MCBs RCD test button just here, and then the 12 volt fuses just here. They are all labelled up and then all correspond on the sticker just here. We can also see the battery charger just here. We then have isolator buttons for components that use mains electricity. So we have this amber one here for the heating and hot water. So if I do turn this off and we are using the Truma control panel above the door and we're using the heating or the hot water on main supply, we will throw up an error code. So do make sure that this is on. We can turn the battery charger on and off on this one here. But again, we want to leave it on, so when we're hooked up to the main supply, we're charging the leisure battery. And then lastly, this one here will illuminate if we have reverse polarity connected in the caravan. If that does illuminate, it's not a major issue. These newer units will reverse the polarity and make it safe within the caravan. We have the control board for the PowerTouch motor mover just here. And then we have the onboard water pump and surge dampener, and then tucked underneath here we have the Truma boiler itself, and just here the drain valve to drain it down for travel and winterization. To drain the boiler down, make sure the water pump is turned off, and then just flip this yellow lever up like so, and then to refill, flap it back over. Make sure you've got water in your aqua roll, drop in your submersible pump, turn the water pump on, and it will begin to prime the boiler back up again. Tucked down here you will find just the PIR sensor for the alarm, and the alarm box just sits just here. Do not need to do anything with it. And then tucked right at the very back, it is a bit dark in here, is some more fuses. Again, they are labelled up. We then have the stereo just here with a removable front. You will see that we have USB connectivity just here and auxiliary, CUD in here and eject just here. Change tracks or search for radio stations just here. Volume control. If you wish to change anything, just hold this button in here and you'll go into the setup menu. So you can change your graphic equalizer, display, everything in there. And then to turn the unit on and off, just hold this button in here. In the wardrobe, you will find the freestanding table just here and the booster box for the television aerial on the roof. You can control the boost just on this dial just here. We then have the Thetford fridge. So on and off on this button just here. And then to pick what we want to be running it on, hold the grey button in and it will then begin to flash. So we have, as you can see as I press the button, mains electricity with the picture of the 2-pin plug, 12 volt maintain for when we're towing, and gas. Once you've decided, press the grey button and then it will move across to your temperature control. And we're now running on main supply. We then have the freezer box just here, and then the fridge, and then turn back off again. Above we have the microwave. Microwave is plugged in this overhead cupboard. It's always advisable to remove the plate for travel, and then it behaves like most microwaves at home. We have quick start here, we have stop, and then we have power settings, defrost, etc. just there. In the overhead cupboard just this side, we have room for plates and cups, and also the solar panel regulator. We do not need to do anything with it, it will just smart charge the leisure battery as it is required. We then have the hob. So we have the 3 gas rings. Just push in, twist and press the igniter. So it's just push in, twist, press the igniter. And then beneath that we have the grill. And the oven. Beneath the oven we have storage, and then beside you will find the drainer. Gas isolation taps, they are all colour coded. They can all stay on, they do not really need to be turned on and off. I always say if you smell gas in the van, just turn the gas bottle off. We then have the washroom. So we have the basin just here. And then we have the toilet. So bowl swivels all about, open to the cassette just on the lever here, and then push to flush just on top. Level indicator just here, so this will illuminate when you need to empty the cassette and then close back up again. Do make sure that this is closed, because if it's not and you try to remove the cassette, it will not come out. So if you are feeling resistance, just check to see whether or not somebody has left the flap open. We then have the shower just here and the shower screen. Do make sure that it is clipped back for travel. Above my head we have the Omnivent fan. To raise the vent, just twist. Middle button turns the unit on, and then we have arrows out for extraction and arrows in for cooling. Variable fan speed just by pressing. Do make sure that the vent is down for travel. As we then come to the rear of the caravan, we have 2 bunk beds just here. Plenty of storage beneath, and this particular one can be clipped up for extra storage. And we then have the dinette that can be made into a bed, and then we have the flip out bunk as well.